Good morning and welcome to In Search of Prosperity Sisterhood. I am so glad you ladies are here, and I cannot wait to talk more about connecting. As usual, we do this a lot in here, and connection can, because we have a lot of tentacles in our life, and connection is a beautiful thing. So as things come up for you, as they strike a chord, as words pop into your head, whatever that might be, drop them in the chat, raise your hand, do your thing. On the replay, same thing, reach out in some way and raise your hand in some way. I think that's important because your hand is connected to you and what you need and your heart's desires and all those things. And sometimes it's uncontrollable. You're just like, how'd that get up there? So just follow that, just be with that. So this morning in talking about connection, I want to talk about the connection you have between your head and your heart. And sometimes that can be the longest 18 inches, whatever it is. 18 might be a little long, right? But that can be a long distance. Like when we're talking about logistics or parameters or I don't know, expectations or different things within the workplace or our relationships with our business and things like that, we think that it's best to be hard and not connect to our heart or have that disconnect of no, my heart is for my friends versus my business or whatever it might be, right? So even like the saying, it's business and not personal comes to mind when I say that. Like it can be both when the right for you, the right for you. Now, I'm not saying there's a rule book. When the right for you values and rules, parameters, policies, boundaries are in place to keep that, to keep your heart protected, to keep your mind protected, but they can also stay connected. I just want you to know that you have that permission to keep your heart and head connected. Like I keep doing like this thing. But that distance, uh, this weekend, I had the opportunity to shorten that distance for myself again. And yet I have training on this. I have exercises in this. And I was running ahead. As in my mind, was running ahead so far that I was out of reach of my heart, out of reach of my hands to do things. And so when we slow our mind to catch up to the body or for the body to catch up, that's where that connection happens. That's where that 18 inches becomes like I have this vision of like a rod, right? It's not a string, it's not detachable, it's not whatever. Like it can be welded together. Again, through the boundaries, through the expectations of your relationships and conversations and all of that. And it makes me think of we get this a lot when we're in the shower or we're driving in the car and tuning out the radio, right? Like that moment of presence, that idea pops into your head, that person pops into your head, that vision pops into your head. So it makes me think of those of you that might have like a notepad right outside your shower door, which I don't, by the way, which I'm thinking like, huh, how am I not that person? Um, but they even make, at one time I wanted to be that person and I found that they make waterproof paper and pens. So like I found them in like the adventure or camping section at Cabela's or something like that. And it was that idea of like, oh, I could use that in the shower. And then I never bought that. But maybe you're that person that That's where you get your ideas. And I would just, I don't know, offer the suggestion that maybe that's where your mind is slowing down enough to where your body catches up with your mind. And I know for myself, my mind has been way ahead of my body for a while now, um, which has slowed some action, like hands doing things, like getting certain things done. Um, I have been a positively uh, busy person this year, as I declared earlier in this sisterhood. But that opportunity to slow my mind, I just would encourage you all to find whatever helps you slow your mind, whether it's meditation, going for a walk, um, being in gratitude, some sort of activity of presence gets you in your body. And I've preached on that before, the gratitude piece, especially. Connecting your head to your heart, writing out a card saying thank you, reaching out over the phone, one to one, right? That exercise of presence is a pretty cool thing. And there's so many different ways to do it, but it does take intention. It does take being being open to whatever comes to your mind. If it is taking that longer shower, um, one of our members, Dawn, she shared about she's been running, and in one of our sessions, she had shared that she runs until she's no longer thinking about work, whether it's a half a mile or 5 miles or whatever it might be. That's a form of meditation, I would dare to say. I mean, someone can challenge me on that if they want to. And that's what made me think of when I said take the longer shower or take that longer hike. Like if you're still angsty when you get to the top of the hill, maybe you need to go down the other side first before you turn around to come back, right? Um, so when we do this for ourselves, because we have to do it for ourselves first. I feel like there's trust. I've mentioned the book Promptings and the idea of promptings and following your promptings, because they are small, actionable things. And so when your head listens to your heart of that little prompting and then you actually do it, you start to trust that more. So then that 18 inches becomes much shorter and much shorter and much shorter. And it becomes now because you've exercised that muscle. I think that's maybe the goal of connecting your head to your heart, like the end, not the destination, but the process of finding and doing the things that are in your heart as they become easier. Like that's where it's at. That's the stuff. And sometimes either one of them kind of get in the way, but that's part of the practice. And as you practice, they become more aligned. So then I get that same image of that rod just being welded together instead of kind of wibble wobbly, right? Like now they're welded together. So your head and your heart are welded together. So that gave me that image of alignment, right? So then, whether it came from your head or your heart, it's doable and it's done because of the alignment. But if you're running out there ahead, right? Like, and you forgot about this policy you have on your heart that protects it, pretty soon you're the no, I just got a terrible image, terrible reference. um, you're kind of like that. You're running along and you're this frog that jumps into the boiling water. Like that was a bad idea. Oh wait, because it wasn't an idea because it didn't come from your heart and you were just running, right? Um, I don't know. You guys know I share my visions, so that's what you get. Do with it what you want. Uh, when your head and your heart are welded together, they're aligned. They're within inches of each other. Um, it can become that compass. I'm full of visions today. So I just got this vision of, and I've never done this, so maybe it's not even a thing. Maybe it's just in the movies because this is where I've seen it. Um, that vision of making your own compass, like in a little puddle of water, and you stick your little stick in there and it turns. I don't know. Maybe you're the stick. Like when you're all together, you know what the direction is that you need to go. Again, take that vision. It's mine. So I mean, do with it what you want. But um when you're welded together, you can do anything. And it takes practice. And as we go into our discussion today, we're going to talk more about maybe what what it is that you use to practice. Is it taking the longer shower, the longer walk, um, the gratitude on pen and paper? What is it for you that gets you present, that slows your mind? I might even say, and I've said this for affirmations, it stops the spiraling. So, an affirmation might be what brings you back to the present. What else is it? Take that time for yourself. Answer that question. And like I said, when we go into our live discussion right now, that's what we're going to do. So if you're here on the replay, grab that piece of paper, jot that down, throw it in the comments section, whatever it might be. We're here for you. So with that, I'll see you next time. Oh, oh, it's on. Look at that. All right. Talk soon.